Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie critic here with my final video for Oscar nominations 2025. And of course, this time I will be looking at the nominations for Best Picture. And there are 10. It's just something so exciting because the Oscars are a couple of days away. And I am really excited to see who wins what. And I do have some things that I want to make note of about the Oscars, but I will do that in another video. Right now, I just want to talk about these nominations. Okay, so let's go with our first. Nora. It is a comedy slash drama, or as some like to say, dramedy. Rated R. It is 2 hours and 19 minutes long. They spend the first 30 minutes of the movie having sex and partying. Then they spend another 30 minutes on a chase. Then the rest of the movie was pretty much cliche, except possibly the ending. Okay. This is the perfect example of the Generation Z type movies. A lot of fluff and filament with very little substance or content. Meaningful content, I'll say that. It's not boring, but it gets repetitive very quickly. So then we have nomination number 2, The Brutalist. This is a drama, rated R, 3 hours and 35 minutes long. And yes, the rumors are true. There was a 15-minute intermission in the movie theater. Escaping Europe after World War II, an architect arrives in America to rebuild his life. I was fooled into thinking this movie was based on a true artist. It reminded me of the movie Tar from 2022, which I also thought was based on a true composer, which was not. It went into such great detail to tell Laszlo's story. It seems more like a biopic. Since it was fiction, there were so many scenes that could have been done without, that would have made the movie a lot shorter. I did learn that brutalism is an architectural style that emerged in the 1950s and was popular until the 1980s. It's characterized by exposed building materials, blocky forms, and minimalist aesthetic. Thank you, Google. It seems a logical architect method for the times. The term brutalism comes from the French word béton brut, which means raw concrete. The movie details some of the difficulties and demoralization that foreign people had to go through when coming to America by not only Americans, but from their family too. As the movie comes to an end, it just felt like they ran out of time, money, film, or all of the above. So they had to wrap it up in not so neat a way. It reminded me of how the media made such a big deal about the movie No Country for Old Men, and most viewers were like, this is it? I was disappointed, but it wasn't awful. I would not watch it again. The next movie is A Complete Unknown. It is a biography or biopic, rated R, 2 hours and 21 minutes. This is not a story for general audiences. I believe it got an R rating because of all the smoking. There wasn't even much cursing. I do believe you have to be a Dylan fan to like this movie and not just know of him. Bob Dylan is an acquired musical taste. I don't even think folk music purists will like this movie very much, because it takes most of them to a time they would probably want to forget. The movie takes us back in time to the 60s when folk music was all over the world and people like Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, and Johnny Cash ruled the radio and concert halls. I think the movie tried to show Dylan's rise to fame and the point where he felt he needed to make a change from folk music to rock. Maybe this was supposed to be something radical at the time, but to me, Dylan just ended up looking like a jerk. as I said pretty much every time I've talked about this movie. It's one thing to move on to a different style of music. It's another thing to screw over the people that helped get you to where you are, and then even treat them like they are beneath you. This movie even made Joan Baez seem like a jerk, and it really didn't do any favors for folk music as a whole, unless you like Bob Dylan. Okay, so, but I do have to admit one thing about this movie. It did remind me of when we were in music class when I was in first grade, and my teacher used to teach us all these folk songs. Our music teacher, he played the songs and we sing them, like Country Roads and This Land Is Your Land and things like that. And I tell you what, those were like some of the best times in school for me doing that. So I will say that for folk music. All right, so our next movie is Conclave. This is a drama and suspense thriller, rated PG, and it is 2 hours long. A new pope must be selected after the current pope dies. The conclave is a very secretive election to choose the next pope, managed by Dean Lawrence. It's like if Mean Girls, Doubt, and Glass Onion filmmakers came together to create a movie. It started off very slow, but picked up mystery, intrigue, and drama along the way. I would not call it a thriller, but it was definitely a twister until the very end. And this is definitely a movie I would watch again just so I could see what I missed the last time, because it was just so much mystery and compelling things to it. And it was very sentimental, I have to say. And I am not a religious person. Okay, so that's that movie. And then our next movie is Emilia Perez. I did not know this was a musical. It was such a beautiful movie in so many ways. It told so many stories, and yet they all coexisted and then meshed together in a soulful, colorful blend. The movie began with an ending for 3 women, and then a new beginning for 4 women. It found a new, refreshing way to tell an old story, finding the person you really want to be, accepting that person, being that person, and finally loving that person through the good and bad. Very, very nice story. I really enjoyed it. Our next nomination is for I'm Still Here. The movie is very lovely and very heartfelt. At the center is a former diplomat's family. It is a biopic based on the book written by the son of the 2 main characters. The family is investigated by the military, then the father is taken away. The mother must find a way to protect her family and move forward. And she does it. It is a beautiful story, really beautiful. Okay, the next story is Nickel Boys. It is PG-13. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. This is definitely an art film. It is based on the story of Edward Curtis. The movie starts with snippets of his life until the day he ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time. He is sent to a reformatory school where he must not only survive, he must choose not to lose his soul in the process. The movie was not told in a linear way. At some points it did get confusing. The basis of the movie is never lost. With the love of his grandmother and his friend Turner, he just might make it through. He has such heart and determination throughout the entire movie. Just a beautiful, beautiful young man. Okay, so that is that movie. Then we have Wicked. Okay. If I could use one word to describe this movie, it would be remarkable. I truly loved it. Full disclosure, I have never seen the movie before. I have never seen the stage play, and I have never read the book. I went to this movie with really no expectations except for it to be good. I liked almost everything about this movie, which starts where The Wizard of Oz left off. The Wicked Witch is dead. Dorothy has made it home, and the Wizard of Oz is also gone. But Glinda is there. I love the music, the chemistry between Elphaba and Galinda, even when they didn't like each other. And I especially love the strength and love and vulnerability of Elphaba. Of course, Ariana Grande as Galinda and then Glinda. Her character is very pivotal to the movie, but she never stopped being flighty, going with the flow, and staying in the spotlight. There was also the moment in the dance scene where she played off of Erivo's character. I'm not saying she does not act well. I'm saying she focused on certain things in Galinda's personality and stuck with them. And she never really moved away from them until possibly the very end of the movie, when she kind of got a little bit deeper. So if anything, I would just say, there was an evolution of the character in the story. There just wasn't an evolution of the acting. I hope that makes sense. Okay, other than that, I really, really love this movie. Okay, so traditionally, the Oscars love a good biopic, like I'm Still Here or A Complete Unknown. I don't even know how or why Honora and The Substance are in this category. Well, I do believe that The Substance is there because Demi Moore is the star of that movie. So, The Brutalist is way too long and has a very abrupt ending. A Complete Unknown has too many unlikable or unforgettable characters. Even though they're all real, the star of Emilia Perez has caused way too much bad publicity for the movie. I'm Still Here and Nickel Boys are not only about family, they are also about fighting the system no matter how futile it may seem. However, Wicked stands out among them all. It is only a musical. Is that what most people will say? I would choose, so with that in mind, I would choose Nickel Boys. I don't know if it will win, and the Oscars does not have a history of choosing a black cast or a mostly black cast as Best Picture. So that probably would not happen this time at all, especially when I think Sidney Poitier had the only starring role in the movie that won him the movie In the Heat of the Night Best Picture during that time. But of course they made the point to also note that Sidney Poitier wasn't the only star. It was also Rod Steiger, I think his name was. I'm probably wrong with that, but the man that played the sheriff who was white. So they made sure to point that out. So yeah, I'm not sure that Nickel Boys will win. I think it deserves to win. I do also believe that Wicked deserves to win, even though it's a musical, and Oscars doesn't really have. They have chosen musicals in the past, but it has been a long time. And yeah, if anything, this is one of the best musicals I've ever seen in the movies. Alright, so those are my views. Please let me know what you think at the bottom of the screen. I hope you have enjoyed my videos about the Oscar nominations 2025. And I have enjoyed making them. I do have some notes that I want to talk about later on about the Oscars as a whole, but I will do that on another video. This one's already too long. Alright, well thank you. I hope you watch the Oscars. And I hope you comment on some of this stuff, and I really hope you watch the videos. I will hope to share more with you next time.